pause this, of course, and then we'll start back up with putting some algebra in here. So let's not freak out. It's the same exact logic as what we were doing with the numbers, and this is where the calculus rule really pays off. So the first thing you should notice is that I have a 3 here, and I don't like that. So I want to do x squared and x to the first. So once I've simplified everything inside my radical symbol, I want to give each number or variable its own radical symbol. So I want to, from this step, I want to go x square root x cubed and then square root y squared. Okay, from that step, again, I don't want to work with that odd exponent, so I break it down to x squared, x to the first, and y squared. And remember, everybody needs the radical symbol. And again, the operation happening between all these guys is multiplication because it's grouping symbols. So, taking inverse operations, I get x I get square root x and I get y. And then that's my final answer, but cleaning it up, x, y, square root x. X. There you go. Okay. Okay, so I have a number here. Go over here. 48. Factor that for me. Go back. As that's factoring, I'm going to put everything in its own radical symbol or radical sign. So 48 a squared okay. So let's check back over to what they said 48 is going to be factored to, and it says 2 to the 4th and 3. Okay, so I want to do 2 to the 4th square root 3 square root a squared and b. Okay, now I can begin to apply the radical symbols. So remember, the square root is a base being raised to the power of 1/2. So if I applied 4 times 1/2, I get 2. So I would get 2 to the second. Or you can even just apply this out if you don't trust yourself by making this step from here to here. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Square root of 16 is going to be equal to 4, which is what we get as soon as we evaluate this. Okay, square root 3, can't do anything with that, so he stays. A squared goes to A, and B, I can't do anything, so he stays. Okay, now let's just clean it up. We're all done. So 2 squared is 4. Bring that A out in front. And then I'm left with square root 3 and square root B. I'm not going to put square root 3 and square root b right here. I'm just going to put them all under the radical symbol. And so I'm left with 3b. And that is my answer. Last but not least, let's check out what 128 is. And I am out of room. So 1, 2, square root 128 square root x cubed. Okay, do I like that x cubed? That is correct. The answer is no, I do not like that. So, wow. Okay, so we have 2 to the 7th. Let's see, where am I at here? Okay, so 128 turned out to be 2 to the 7th. Okay, even though I freaked out at that number, you're not going to freak out. And then I'm going to break down x cubed into x squared and x to the first. Now, if you are starting to get the hang of this, you can start to simplify radical symbols as you're doing the math. You don't have to do all these extra steps, but I'm going to keep everything intact just so I don't leave anybody hanging here. So I want to change 2 to the 7th to 2 to the 6th and 2 to the 1st. Remember, I do not like odd exponents when I'm dealing with simplifying these expressions. So 2 and x to the 1st, and everybody gets a radical symbol. Okay, so again, taking 1/2 of 6, which is 3. This goes to x, and then the 2 to the 1st and the x to the 1st stay inside my radical symbol. Last step would be to simplify this. So 2 cubed is going to be 8. So final answer, 8 x square root 2 x. Box it up. Okay, last but not least, we're applying everything we've learned into one big problem. So again, we're not freaking out here. Simplify what's in your radical symbol first. So here, my a's can cancel out. At least one of them will cancel out with one of the ones on top. So I'm going to be left with a to the 4th all over 81 everybody gets radical symbol, so square root a to the 4th all over square root 81. And you're left with a squared, because remember again you're doing 1/2 of whatever the exponent is, and then we know square root 81 to be 9. And that's a 9, and then that's my answer. And then over here, I can't reduce the fraction, so I go to giving everybody a radical symbol. So square root 4 square root x to the 5th, and I'm going to do 2 steps in one here, because again I do not want odd exponents. That's a funky looking radical symbol. All over 9 square root 9 square root y squared. Okay, now apply the square roots. So I'm going to get 2. I'm going to get x to the 2nd. X is going to stay in the radical. All over 3 and y. So once you get the hang of it, it becomes pretty fun, yeah? Alright, maybe not. I like it. And last thing you want to look for is if you can reduce 2 and 3 is not going to reduce any. So I'm done here. Box it up. You're good to go. Okay, try some check it outs. I hope this has helped you. Again, taking a look at the objectives. Be able to use the product property of square roots, the quotient property, and then that last example that we just did is throwing everything in together using all those properties that we learned. All right, good luck.